morning and welcome to another edition of the Tourismus Namibia live broadcast, our weekly edition. This morning we've got a bit of a different show, but let's see what it brings. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Frank Steffen. I'm the editor of Allgemeine Zeitung and obviously also involved as editor of the Tourismus Namibia magazine. So today let's go first to topics. Well, so as you can see, this morning we bring you a bit of news. Swakopmund Museum has opened again. They sent us a notification this week. So there you can see it. It's obviously down at Strandhotel at the Mall. So go and have a look there. It's always a very interesting museum, not only in terms of history as such, but also in terms of all types of information about the town and how it came to be and what they do today. And then the second one that we would want to remind you is on the 8th of July coming up is the World Ocean Day. So just remember, if it is of interest to you, there you can see worldoceansday.org. Have a see, go visit the site and see. They've got different videos in which they'll be running on that site as well. Swakopmund Museum, I think, is involved with that stuff as well. At least they'll be engaging with that. And then finally, this week, we got a notification from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, and they've happily translocated 30 giraffe. Now, in a news letter, they actually said, with the assistance from Dupree Wild and funding by the Giraffe Conservation Fund and Wildlife Conservation Alliance, the ministry captured and translocated 13 giraffe to Mangeti National Park in Kavango West, 3 to Okongo Conservancy in Ohangwena, and 14 giraffe to Doro Nawas Conservancy in the Kunene region, assisted by Ultimate Safaris and Namibian tourism operations. So this is obviously good news. You might remember that we spoke about it when we discussed the budget for the Ministry of Environment. They had put aside money and they want to actually get more involved in translocating animals which are surplus in one area to the others so as to boost tourism all over the country. It's all in terms of inclusivity and so on. So yeah, those were the quick news items that we had for the week. And with that, we come to destinations. Welcome back. As you can see, this week I'm alone in the studio. Normally you would expect Claudia to sit next to me. She was not able to attend, but what she did was she sent me a video of where she is out in the veld, giving you a couple of ideas how to also keep busy without always driving thousands of kilometers. So have a look.
Hello Frank, sorry I can't be there today, but I thought I would just give you a little insight into what I'm up to. I'm exploring hiking trails and walks in and around Windhoek, which offer you and your families the opportunity to, explore and immerse yourself in nature without even necessarily having to go great distances. Taking advantage of our beautiful surroundings, of this beautiful nature. Take your bike, go for that ride. It's self-isolation at its best, and I can't think of a more beautiful environment to be on my own in. As you can see, this really is in the middle of nowhere and one of the most beautiful spots that I've been to, and a fantastic place to visit if you just want some me time.
Right, and then you will see that this week we actually have another video for you. It was an interview that Francois Steinberg conducted with Princess Lynn Strydom. Princess is part of Gondwana, Namibia Collections, and Francois visited the King Nihale Lodge, the new one of Gondwana, right up on top of Andoni Vlakte, or that huge expanse just above the Namotoni fort or resort. So it's in Ovamboland, and I especially much like that because, like I often said, it's an area that's not been properly engaged with tourismus yet, or tourism yet. So let's see what they had to say.
Good morning and welcome from Etosha King Nehale. I'm Queen Francoise Steinberg and this is Princess Lynn Strydom, Sales Manager of Gondwana Collection. Good morning.
Good morning, Francoise.
Oh, and it's so lovely to be here. What a wonderful place. Yes. Why did Gondwana decide to build a lodge at the northern gate of Etosha?
Francoise, a big reason for building this lodge in the King Nahale Conservancy is to pay tribute to the biggest tribe of Namibia, the Oshivambo people.
Yes, and what a beautiful place. And the way people here, in your lodge, in your interior decorating, everything, the cultural dances at night, beautiful, beautiful. But you also have other activities here, except for the beautiful lodge, the wonderful service, and the excellent food. You have a game drive inside Etosha with a viewpoint. Tell us about that.
We have an exclusive hide, just a 2-hour leisure drive into the Etosha National Park, and I really call it the elephant's paradise.
And it is.
As you experienced it yesterday.
As I experienced it. So we were driving to this viewpoint, and then you saw elephants and elands and all the animals, and then you said, please come elephants, please come to the water hole. And then when you get there, it's this big surprise. Huge herds and herds of elephants drinking water at this water hole, and herds of eland and giraffe. But this viewpoint, this is really, really special. Yes. They are 2 containers.
That's correct. And with our designers and our interior decorators, they really managed to capture a feeling of being so close to nature.
Very close.
All the windows open up and you can literally hear the elephants slurping up their water and hitting their tusks to each other, playing and trying to train each other to be bigger and
you really
stronger.
Don't want to leave there.
Yeah.
But also, it's part of nature.
Exactly.
It's not this pink thing, or it's beautifully built.
Yes, definitely. We try to get it really camouflaged in nature. And as you saw yesterday, the elephants and all the animals around there are so tame and really don't notice us.
Yeah,
we really felt that we were sharing the space in a respectable way with them.
But a highlight for me is like, I was still standing there at the back, and then all of a sudden there's a rhino. Oh yeah, a black rhino in its natural habitat.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Which again shows you how camouflaged our hide really is.
Yes.
The animals are so tame and very used to this object next to their water hole. Yeah.
But they're not the only ones drinking. We had like lovely sundowners there and snacks and the most beautiful, beautiful sundown.
Yes. We
all
really
the colors.
tried to give the full royal experience here at Etosha King Nahale.
And I really felt like royalty. I feel like a queen here. Really, everybody that's visiting here feels like a king or a queen or a prince or a princess.
I'm so happy. That means we did our job.
You did. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you, Francoise.
Welcome back. As you can see, I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Rupesh Soni. Rupesh, welcome in the studio.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you for making the time. I think it's quite interesting. Lots of people are talking about it. Rupesh has been quite busy on the internet. That's what he does. He's one of the co-founders of the idea of local is lekker. Tell us a bit more about it and how this idea came together.
Thank you, Frank. Local tourism is lekker started literally overnight when I got a call from Yvonne. We were just a couple of days before lockdown when it was announced that there will be a state of emergency, and we decided instead of waiting for things to happen, why don't we see what we can do for the local tourism industry, since we knew what was happening in the other countries. So we actually decided to preempt the damage and see what we can do in the meantime. And within a week, we went from launching it to about 3,000 members in a week.
Yeah, this thing went off like a rocket. Yeah.
Yes, it did. It was unbelievable. We're getting 50 to 70 new deals every day for locals. Deals ranging from campsites that started, some of them are free. They said, look, just come and pay what you can to the community and come stay here.
So it's really open for everybody
it's open for everyone, yes.
And anybody can approach you, there's no issue there?
There's no issues. We just said, as long as you have a deal for local tourism or local people, local tourism deal, it can be food, drinks, whatever it is, as long as it's for local people, based on tourism, you're more than welcome.
And it's all encompassing. So we're not only talking as in tour operators or this or that. Anybody who wants to make use of it can make contact.
Absolutely. They don't even have to make contact. You just post it and we approve it.
Okay, so there's no pre-approval or anything.
Nothing, no.
Yeah, and the idea is clearly to get local people to enjoy what has been on the plate all the time, but get more involved.
Absolutely. A lot of people have been complaining about prices being too expensive previously and people not being catered to Namibians. And our argument has been, if you go to Germany, they don't have special prices for Germans.
Yeah,
if you go to India, they don't have special prices for Indians. So we have been enjoying that privilege, but now it's become a demand saying, no, you have to give us, which we said, no, it's, these times we need to support each other. It has to be an all-inclusive agenda for everyone and support where we can. And we see a lot of tour operators who used to only operate for foreign clients have now packages, including renting a vehicle for Namibians.
Okay.
You can rent a vehicle for six nights, including camping, breakfast, and the vehicle cost is 2,000 a person.
No, that is obviously what you want to do. At the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things is always people automatically assume I can't go there because I don't own a 4x4. Now suddenly that becomes an option, just like for any other visitor.
Absolutely. And then since we started, obviously the lockdown started, so we decided instead of waiting for it to open, we proactively did webinars, talked about open discussions on tourism, conservation, communities, everything. And once the lockdown ended, we saw the sudden rush and the long weekend. There were 800 people in Brandberg area camping, and everything has been full every weekend since then.
But this is important, and I think, again, we're known on our show by now that we try not only promote, sorry to say, obviously Swakop is important and Sosos is important and so is Etosha. But Namibia has got so much more to offer. Typically, whether you take Damraland, Kokeland, I always push a personal agenda, to be quite honest. I totally feel that one of the places that are totally underestimated is, for example, the 4O regions, Oangwena, Shanaan, whatever. So because if you're somebody who does wild camping, then Ovambaland is one of the areas that nobody for some reason has considered. And it's a nice area to go to. So whether you go to Kavango or to Ovambaland, it's pretty much the same. So do you guys see yourselves getting involved in all the regions eventually and having an organized program? Yeah,
we do. Look, we're adapting to as the time changes, as we see the need arises. We're trying to adapt, but the main focus is inclusivity. So we want to include all the areas, all the regions. And one thing that the platform has shown people is there are at least, I think, 20-30% of the entities who have listed there, nobody knew about.
Exactly.
That's like mom and pop own, like old couple owning a campsite. Now they want to advertise, and it's the first chance they have got to be out there. And it's giving exposure to a lot of places around Namibia.
That were not known before.
We've never known before. And even now, Etosha, Sossusvlei is booked on the weekends. But if you just heard yesterday, like for example, Zebra Trailers and the trailer companies, they are fully booked. Because people are modifying their vehicles to now go camping and go around Namibia.
Good stuff.
Just to explore the backyard. We've never done that before.
And obviously the lodges are glad about it, I'm sure, all the accommodation sites. How do you see this thing going forward? Are tour groups also responding or not at all?
Tour groups, we don't have many tour groups here. I just saw a couple of new packages today, like targeted at pensioners, older
Yeah.
people. Eventually, look, it will happen that we'll have to adapt until September. We'll have to adapt to new ways of getting Namibians to go.
Yeah.
As long as the way economy works in most countries, as long as the money flows in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there will
it
be.
remains here.
It remains here, and
Yeah.
that's the most important. People will get confidence that we have something moving here, rather than just waiting for things to happen. And with the whole platform's future plans, we are looking at. We have shown how social media works. You need to have a focus. You don't want to just make it an advertising platform, which most of them turn out to be. Going forward, we want them to realize that now that we've helped and they've seen the need for locals, we would also hope that when they have a Wednesday and Thursday evening free or two rooms available, they quickly go on the platform and say, you know what, Namibians, we've
Special
got
for locals.
Yes, and we need to start proactively advertising that instead of just it might not make them profit, but they've seen what it brings to them.
Well, my argument was always, and I mean, this is the time where you start thinking out of the box. And for example, if I had been a tour operator at this stage,
Absolutely.
I would have very likely taken my bus and said, okay, I can only take 10 where I previously could take 20. And I would make sure that I invite pupils to come and do an educational trip or something like that.
I think that is one thing missing in Namibia is educational trips, school trips, camping trips for kids, summer camps.
And they were all at home now, and parents would have been glad to send them somewhere.
Absolutely, and we tried that with online, during stage 2, we tried that with online programs on teaching about pangolins and hyenas through Africat and other foundations. And it was actually quite successful, I would say, because the moment they talked about pangolins one week, next week Okunjima was packed with kids families who wanted to see pangolins.
Perfect,
and this is what we need to, just the point we're trying to make is be proactive. This is a time of change.
And local is lekker is not specifically belonging to any group. So in other words, I suppose you need to be registered with NTB or they need to know of you, but that's about it.
I think not necessarily. It's a Facebook page.
Okay.
We're not making money
so
out of it.
You're not aligned to anybody?
Anything, no, we don't align to anyone. We're trying to make it a community-based thing where we were open to ideas, we are giving new ideas, strategies, and we just want them to understand this is not the time to have territories or agendas or anything bias, if I may say, because we need each other. Doesn't matter if it's tourism or trade.
If it's not today, it's tomorrow.
And this is the time we have shown that we actually came together to get a lot of things done. And I don't see that initiative in any other SADC countries or African countries.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, even if we say local is lekker, it's not only about Namibians. I mean, in the long run, we're talking South Africans, guys from Botswana, whoever, Zambia, because we've seen it over in the last holiday. You saw immense increase of tourism from Zambia and Botswana, for example.
Absolutely, and this is where one of the arguments we're trying to make is, or I'm personally trying to focus on is, Zambia is open now since a few days. Zambian president said, look, borders are open, everyone's allowed to go in and out. And we are saying we have this trial period between July 15th and August 15th. Why don't we open the borders in the north, see how it works, test it out, see the protocol, see what the problems are. It helps both the countries.
Yeah, and then that way, when you really open up for the rest of the world, you'll sort of at least have your systems in place.
Absolutely, and nobody's looking at that side of things because we have an opportunity right now. We are not on the EU list until the 13th of July, and the second list comes out then. We still don't know if we'll be there or not. Yeah,
and let's face it, after 15 August, if I remember correctly, we want to look at air bridges and all sorts of things.
Yes,
then you would have to have these protocols in place anyway.
Absolutely, and right now, I mean, we have given a date. But we didn't have a plan around it. The date was announced without actual consultations. And now that we have a date, let's look at Zambia, let's look at Botswana while we wait for the other tourists to come.
Exactly.
And this is where we're having a bit of a challenge with the bigger companies because they don't look at it as a priority. And
and the thing is, you need to test it now to be ready later.
Absolutely.
Even if you do it on a small scale, only just to do it on a test bed.
You said we'll allow 20 people in, but you know the process because if there are issues, you deal with it now.
And at least doing it practically, you would know where the challenges are.
Yes, and with people being positive, the rules around the world say you cannot relocate or transfer any person if he's positive in a pandemic, dead or alive. Basically, that's the rule. So if we can try it with Zambia, at least we have a leeway that at the border, if they're positive, you can send them back.
Yeah, exactly. And then up there you've got Kazaa, so it would be relatively easy to sort of keep it localized.
Absolutely. And this is something we have to now talk to the Zambian board. I'm in contact with them on private level to see, because actually we're speaking at WTM Africa next in 2 weeks.
Okay.
There's about 6 African countries speaking at WTM Africa. So we want to see how we can strategize things for Africa to open up and look at ideas around it.
Because let's face it, this won't be the last pandemic, not the way that it's going at this.
Not really, no. Because people have learned now that, you know, we are used to we're in a system where we have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
You know, many people were against it, but there's nothing one can do. So if things in the world change, we have to go with the flow.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is an opportunity. We saw it now. I mean, local tourism is not as dead as we would want it to be. It's really a matter of pricing. But then on the other hand, I've always had that sort of conviction that if I'm prepared to pay all types of allowances to call it German facilitators, whatever, agencies, travel agencies, if we can't back those commissions that we pay out to all these organizers out there, then I wouldn't be surprised if the local tourism operator at the end of the day is still more or less at the same income level as before.
I agree, absolutely. And at the end of the day, right now, it's not about profits. It's about putting food on their table, the employees' tables, and the community around there.
Get over this period so that we can get back to normal.
I tell people we'll go back to fighting next year in January again.
Exactly. Then
right
it's time for profits. Now it's for survival.
Absolutely. And you know, they always say crisis is always an opportunity in disguise. You know, you have to see the positives. You have to just see it and try things instead of waiting home for another 2 weeks for Germany to open up or be on the list, EU to put us on the list, hopefully. What do you do for 2 weeks? Try something.
In the meantime, you need to eat.
Exactly. And this is where we're saying, no, we have to look at new ideas, and the platform has been open for ideas from everyone.
Well,
and the challenges we're facing is communicating these issues to a higher level.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's new territory for you as well. So, so obviously it's a trial error thing.
Yeah, I only started tourism 10 months ago.
Okay, there you go.
So it doesn't matter which industry, one can make a difference bringing a new skill set in any industry.
Yeah, new ideas really.
You have to,
fresh outlook. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in, and good luck with this endeavor.
Thank you very much.
To you and Yvonne.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, and that brings us to the end of our broadcast today already. But finally, we still want to present you the photo of the week. This time it's a photo by Günter Gessler, which he sent a while back already. This is quite an interesting thing, a phenomena that you see down in Außenkehr. Außenkehr is one of those few areas in Namibia where you still literally find migratory workers. And it's on the one side it's a sad story, and on the other side it's always a very interesting picture to see, because what happens is you literally have these thousands and thousands of people flocking down to the winelands down there. It's for something like 7 or 8 months. I think they're actually due to start going back there again. And then after the whole thing is over I think in December they start picking the grapes, and then I think in January, February it's coming to an end, and then all these people are gone again for at least 4 or 5 months until they return to prepare for the next season. So obviously Außenkehr grapes are one of our export products, and this is quite interesting. It's literally on the banks of the Oranje. So a very interesting picture to see, something different for a change, something that you will see if you go from Noordoever towards Roshbina or Oranjemund along the Oranje. So very nice picture there. Thank you very much for sending it in. If you want to send us a photo, please engage. Please send us those photos. You can send it to Allgemeine Zeitung, or you can even send it to me, fsteffen@az.com.na. That's FSTEFFEN @az for Allgemeine Zeitung.com.na. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye.